Oso nese. Sima. Ni namazi kanwa. Ana ya zakada. Am vansa da. Ga da nyege. Anam tsai kuni. Como bunun be ko ko samia no wa na masai matwe. Ko zanam vansa ga nya ga ta zu. Anwu ya amvat. Osonise! Osonise! Mi to zai woga. Abala kana la wu. Moi la kam vance, moi la ka wi yama la ka cha. E pa chong signature yam do tam ko wofi. Me tin me ka zanam fota go fa wu ga wa. Bi ko nyome, awo ya no. Awo ya na ma ti ka wo. Mbe kukri na wa matwetan ala da so matam da tudu mun ba sa dan awoyam na zigram fa sa awoyam azoyenwa abai dana wa akidan wa figi na la ka wulu tong signa ja zu fa yara yeme igun ri teme dan me ifo ai ka mutege me mutege we mic because me matin wa ga antema songo na ya mote de fi akanya we me fo no ho man ko nyeti e koda mother enjoy tifon mo bom no why get packed off in ga azum before women me where you so motor like check here no me go na o adisa ga so design number would near say ni mo ya maka ana you truth is bitter but must be spoken. The truth is bitter but must be spoken. Ai tuwa ya mtio abu kokanya fi banka ugawa abu kokanya na yie baba ole yo tambe fi banka ugawa o wa ko na daka ala pesu nga.
Nestled amidst the rolling hills of Cameroon, Esu stands as a testament to time, a land where ancient customs intertwine with the pulse of modernity. For generations, the people of Esu lived in harmony with nature, their lives intricately woven with the rhythms of the land. Agriculture formed the backbone of their existence, each harvest a celebration of their deep connection to the soil. The reign of King Mebu II had been a period of relative tranquility. However, the winds of change were already beginning to stir. Achuo II recognized this shift. He understood that progress required embracing new perspectives while preserving the essence of their heritage. The king had witnessed firsthand the transformative power of modern agricultural practices during his time in Nigeria. He returned to Esu, determined to share this knowledge, to empower his people with the tools and resources they needed to thrive. King Achuo II stated, "My first act as king was to establish a series of royal farms. These farms would serve as models of modern agriculture, showcasing the latest techniques and technologies." The king knew that access to education was crucial for the long-term success of his agricultural reforms. He established agricultural training sessions where young people could learn the latest farming techniques and business skills. King Achuo II explained, "Under my leadership, a spirit of innovation and collaboration must sweep through Esu." Farmers, once isolated and reliant on traditional methods, were now connected through cooperatives and empowered with knowledge and resources. The results of King Achuo II's visionary leadership were nothing short of remarkable. Within a few short years, Esu transformed from a subsistence farming community into a thriving agricultural regional power fields. Once dominated by traditional crops, were now bursting with a diverse array of high-yield varieties. King Achuo II emphasized quality and innovation, which earned Esu's agricultural produce a reputation for excellence, attracting buyers from across the region and beyond. Esu's newfound prosperity was palpable. The bustling marketplace, once a humble gathering place for local farmers, was now a vibrant hub of commerce, teeming with traders from neighboring towns and cities. Amid civil unrest and clashes between separatists and the Cameroon government, the king held his tribe together. While the neighboring kings escaped from war, King Achuo remained home to protect his people. Our vision for a prosperous and self-reliant Isu is becoming a reality. The name Al-Haji Baba Ahmadu Danpulo began to circulate in the market squares of Esu. Whispered at first, then spoken with increasing alarm. Danpulo, a wealthy businessman with vast holdings in cattle ranching, had set his sights on Esu. He saw not a community, not a people, but an opportunity. Mr. Al-Haji Baba Ahmadu Danpulo. It began subtly, a seemingly innocuous agreement in 1986, a small parcel of land granted to me for a dairy factory. Instead, the land became a staging ground. Whispers of discontent began to ripple through the once peaceful community. Farmers, their livelihoods threatened, gathered in hushed tones at the marketplace. Elders, repositories of Esu's history and traditions, shook their heads, their faces etched with worry. King Achuo too. I understand the gravity of the situation. Danpulo's greed knows no bounds. His actions are not merely a threat to Esu's land, but to the very fabric of our society. The king, a man of peace, sought a peaceful resolution. He sent emissaries to Danpulo, proposing a dialogue. Danpulo's arrogance had an insidious effect. He began to sow seeds of discord within Esu. Exploiting existing tensions, he turned neighbor against neighbor. Offering bribes and favors, he cultivated a network of informants and collaborators within the community. The once unbreakable bonds of trust began to fray. Suspicion poisoned the air. Rumors spread like wildfire. Esu, once united, was now a community divided. The weight of his responsibility pressed heavily on King Achuo II's shoulders. His dream of a prosperous Isu seemed to be slipping away, yet he refused to give up hope. He knew that giving in to Danpulo's demands would not only mean surrendering Isu's land, but also its soul. King Achuo II used to say, "Drawing strength from the legacy of my forefathers and the unwavering support of those who remained loyal, I resolved to fight back. I would not allow Danpulo to destroy my people. I would not let fear triumph over justice." The fight for Esu had begun. King Achuo II, a staunch believer in the rule of law, turned to the courts for justice. He filed lawsuits challenging Danpulo's land grabs, exposing the fraudulent documents and the intimidation tactics used to dispossess Isu's farmers. The courtroom became a battleground, a clash between the king, representing the rights of his people, and Danpulo, wielding his wealth and influence like a weapon. King Achuo II, despite the setbacks, he refused to be deterred. Danpulo, a master manipulator, used his vast resources to delay and obstruct the proceedings. The wheels of justice, already slow, ground to a crawl. The king, drawing strength from the unwavering support of his people, pressed on, his resolve unwavering. The legal battle cast a long shadow over Isu. The community, once known for its vibrant spirit and strong sense of unity, was now a powder keg on the verge of igniting. Danpulo's provocations continued unabated. He manipulated greedy elites of Esu in high places to infiltrate the kingdom and plot a coup that would end the king's life. His agents, emboldened by their master's impunity, grew increasingly brazen, their actions a constant source of tension. King Achuo II understood that the youths of Esu, their patience wearing thin, grew increasingly restless. They watched their parents' land being stolen, their pleas for justice ignored. The king, acutely aware of their frustrations, urged restraint, knowing that violence would only play into Danpulo's hands. King Achuo II advised his community, "Channel your energy into peaceful resistance." Danpulo, sensing the growing unrest and frustrated by his inability to break the king's spirit, resorted to even more desperate measures. He fabricated evidence, bribing individuals to make false accusations against King Achuo II, attempting to paint him as a supporter of separatist movements. King Kumachuo II would often say, "Danpulo, however, underestimated my standing among my people." They saw through the lies, recognizing them for what they were. The desperate acts of a man accustomed to getting his way, no matter the cost. The king, his name dragged through the mud, refused to be silenced. He spoke out against the lies, exposing Danpulo's tactics for what they were, a desperate attempt to silence those who dared to oppose him. The battle for Achuo had now entered a dangerous new phase. The tension in Achuo was palpable. It hung in the air like a thick fog, suffocating, inescapable. Years of simmering conflict, fueled by some close agents of the king and Danpulo's relentless greed and the growing frustration of the Achuo people, had created a tinderbox. All it would take was a single spark to ignite a conflagration. King Kumachuo II, his once unshakable faith in the power of dialogue and the rule of law, began to waver. He who has dedicated his life to peace, progress, and the well-being of his people now finds himself contemplating the unthinkable. The possibility that his close and trusted sub-leaders had betrayed him. The king's advisors, their faces etched with worry, urged caution. They reminded him of the good works accomplished by the leaders he is suspecting. The corrupt members of the royal family harassed the king for his unwavering dedication to not selling his communal land. March 9th, 2022. A day forever seared into the memory of Achuo. King Kumachuo II told his wife, "My dear, this journey to Wei for the coronation is important. It's a testament to our commitment to diplomacy and regional cooperation." After the wife cautioned him against the trip, King Kumachuo II, accompanied by his beloved wives, embarked on a seemingly routine journey to the neighboring village of Wei. Queen Bibiana Mbongchuo told her lord that it was an honor to be part of such a significant event in Wei. The journey was uneventful. The king, his mind preoccupied with the challenges facing Achuo, barely noticed the passing scenery. King Kumachuo II. The issues in Achuo weigh heavily on his mind. He hoped this visit would bring Achuo some much-needed alliances. He exchanged pleasantries with his wife, their conversation a brief respite from the weight of his responsibilities. His wives assured him that he would find a way with the help of God and the gods of Achuo land. "Together we are strong." As their vehicle approached a secluded stretch of road, a sense of unease washed over the king. He couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. King Kumachuo II stated, "Something wasn't feeling right. Stay alert," he cautioned. Suddenly, gunfire erupted, shattering the afternoon calm. The king's vehicle, caught off guard, slammed to a halt in a cloud of dust. Queen Bibiana Mbongchuo exclaimed, "What's happening?" The king, his instincts taking over, pushed his nursing wife to the floor, shielding her body with his own. "Stay down, I'll protect you," he exclaimed. In that moment of chaos, the king's love and bravery shone through as he did everything in his power to keep his queen safe, but lost his life, and that of the senior queen. News of the assassination spread through Achuo like wildfire. Disbelief gave way to horror, then to a grief so profound it threatened to consume the community. The king, their beloved leader, their protector, their guide, was gone. Gunned down in cold blood, his reign cut tragically short. King Kumachuo II. The marketplace, once a hub of activity, fell silent. The streets, usually bustling with life, were deserted. The people of Achuo, their hearts heavy with sorrow, retreated into their homes, their tears a testament to the depth of their loss. The king's advisors, their faces etched with grief and anger, struggled to comprehend the magnitude of the tragedy. Who could have committed such a heinous act? Who would benefit from the king's death? Questions asked by well-meaning Achuo people and Achuo sympathizers, but wait, not the traitors who vowed to hinder any investigations to help expose the truth. The answer to many seemed all too clear. Danpulo, his greed knowing no bounds, had finally achieved what years of manipulation and intimidation had failed to do. He had silenced the voice of opposition. In the aftermath of the assassination, a wave of fear swept through Achuo. The king's murder was a stark reminder of the power Danpulo wielded and harnessed by some Esu elites to protect their interests and the lengths he would go to achieve his aims. The people of Esu, their spirit broken, their hope extinguished, felt vulnerable, exposed. The king's dream of a prosperous and united Esu seemed to die with him. The Judas's home and abroad dining with Danpulo continued to counteract anything that would lead to justice. The legal battles he had fought so tirelessly were now shrouded in uncertainty. The land he had vowed to protect seemed destined to fall into the hands of the man who had orchestrated his demise. Danpulo, it seemed, had won. But the kings and knights embodied by mighty men and women of integrity across the globe, particularly in North America, has kept his legacy protected by seeking justice. Danpulo, fooled by greedy people, thought he would take the land after the kill, but he had lost the respect and trust of the people. He had silenced his most vocal critic, but he had unleashed a wave of anger and resentment that would be difficult, if not impossible, to contain. The echoes of the gunshots that took King Achuo II's life still reverberate through the hills of Esu. Silence hangs heavy in the air, a silence thick with unanswered questions. Who ordered the assassination? Was it greedy and corrupt Esu people who betrayed the king? What for? Money, jealousy, power? Was it Danpulo acting on his insatiable greed? Or were there other forces at play, their motives shrouded in shadow? The promise of huge sums of money for Judas, who succeeds in killing the king. The official investigation, marred by corruption and a lack of transparency, has done little to quell the rumors and suspicions that swirl through the community. The people of Esu, their trust in the authorities shaken, are left to grapple with the chilling reality that justice for their beloved king may never be served. The king's legacy, once a beacon of hope, is now overshadowed by the tragedy of his death. The progress he fought so hard to achieve, the unity he strived to maintain, now seem fragile, precarious. The shadow of Danpulo looms large over Esu, a constant reminder of the vulnerability of peace, the fragility of justice. Esu stands at a crossroads, its future uncertain. The path ahead is fraught with challenges, each step forward a testament to the resilience of its people, their unwavering determination to honor the legacy of their fallen king. The fight for Esu's land continues, but the battle lines have shifted, involving all Esu people. Quarterheads, Esu Village Council, thrust into leadership roles they never sought, must now navigate the treacherous waters of politics and power, their every move scrutinized, their motives questioned. The international community, once indifferent to the plight of a small village in a remote corner of Cameroon, can no longer ignore the cries for justice. The assassination of King Achuo II, a stark reminder of the human cost of land grabbing and corruption, has shone a spotlight on the plight of marginalized communities around the world, their land, their livelihoods, their very existence threatened by powerful forces driven by greed. The story of King Achuo II is a tragedy, a stark reminder of the fragility of peace and the enduring power of greed. But it is also a story of hope, a testament to the indomitable spirit of a people determined to honor their heritage, to fight for their future, to ensure that the sacrifices of their fallen king were not in vain. The fight for Esu is far from over. It is a fight for justice, for accountability, for the right of a people to determine their own destiny.